Hey everyone, welcome back to I Know a Guy. I'm Anthony, and this is the podcast where connections thrive. Each episode, we spotlight inspiring entrepreneurs, professionals, and individuals doing amazing things. Together, we'll grow your circle, spark collaborations, and discover new opportunities. Today, we're meeting Delynn Miller, a life success and leadership coach who blends strategy, humor, and heart to help others unlock their full potential through her Pursuit Institute and best-selling books. With a powerful story of transformation and passion for purpose-driven living, Delynn is on a mission to inspire leaders to lead from within and create lives they love. How are you doing today, Delynn?
Amazing.
Awesome. Yeah, I was excited to have you on. I loved our conversation, and I nailed that intro first try as far as everybody else is concerned.
Nailed it.
Never do two takes. But anyway, so yeah, I was excited to have you on. You're doing awesome things. You're helping a lot of people, and there's a lot of people out there that need to know what you do and know about you. So I was excited to make some introductions and for people to get to know you. But to start off, where are you calling in from? Where are you located?
So I am dually located. So we split our time from Ontario, Canada, and Barbados, beautiful, sunny Barbados.
Yeah, there you go. Two completely different places.
That's okay. Love them both.
Where are you at today? Are you in Barbados or Canada?
We're in Canada. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, if you have friends coming into town that have never been, where are you going? What are you doing? And what's for dinner?
Oh my gosh. Well, we are in a very small town in southern Ontario. So honestly, I this is where I allow my husband to step up and shine, and he is an excellent cook. Or we're going out for sushi. But either way, that's exactly what we're doing. But I honestly I'm very intentional about my circle, both in Canada as well as in Barbados. And this is like one of my biggest tips is reminding people that you are the average of the top 5 people that you associate yourself with. So because my circle is small, if people are coming in or I'm going to hang out with them, we're definitely doing things that are bringing all of us joy. If it doesn't bring us joy, it's got to go.
Yeah, I like that. So you're putting on the onus on your husband to be the chef. What's his go-to? What's dinner typically if you had to just roll the dice?
It could be anything, Anthony. It really could be anything. He loves to even just have a craving, grab the old Google machine and follow the instructions.
I like that. No, that's awesome. No, that's amazing. Awesome. Well, what can you tell us about what you do?
So I have had this journey where I went from, very specifically doing all the things in what I thought were all the right order. And this is kind of the pedestal that I put to my entire life. And I found myself right out of university being an executive in a hospital. And I stayed as an executive, had many different roles within healthcare within Southern Ontario. And when I had my first daughter 13 years ago, I really started, for me, looking at healthcare very differently, but was starting to look at my life very differently as well and like what I wanted. So it really my story stemmed from trying to find balance, trying to really understand how can I make sure that I'm bringing joy into my life constantly, because up until when she was born, it was always, well, I can suck it up. And I was very much raised with a suck it up attitude, and you've got to do your time, and you're not going to get along with everybody. And, it doesn't have to be rainbows and unicorns all the time, and just suck it up. Right. And I felt like for the first 30 years of my life, I was sucking it up, just constantly suck it up, do your time and do what you're told. And that's how you're going to climb the ladder. And that's how you're going to do all the things. And I realized that I was burnout. I had, on paper, it looked like I had it all. And yet I felt very disconnected and very dissatisfied with my life. And once I had her, I was like, this is no way to live. And now I have this other human, and very quickly her sister was born too. And I'm like, they're not always going to do what I say, but they will always do what I do. And I have to start leading by example here. And this stemmed my passion, or rooted my passion in really helping people lead inspired lives. And the core of what I do as a mindset mentor and a speaker and an author and a coach, I am obsessed with unlocking human potential. And so I spend all of my time now in every single thing that I touch, helping leaders and entrepreneurs rewire their thinking, rebuild their self image, and lead with purpose. Because when you transform how someone can see themselves, everything around them begins to change, right? So here I thought, oh, maybe I'll just like my job more, or I'll like my marriage more, or being a mom, or my health will change, or my bank account will change. But what happened was when I started growing from within, all of it changed. And now I just love to help others do the same.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. There's a lot of good there. So, if you just had to kind of look through it all, what is it that you love the most about what you're doing now?
I love watching what people will do with their awareness once they have it, because I've mentored thousands of people globally at this stage. Now it's been, over a decade, and not one of them is the same. Everybody will establish, like we always start with desire. What is your purpose? What is your vision for your life and desire? At the very beginning, it doesn't matter whether I'm working one-on-one with somebody or within a corporate organization. This is the beginning. Everybody gets to set something that's meaningful to them, and then it's about becoming that person that has it, rather than just like setting a goal that's willy-nilly and then not really achieving it, or achieving it for a short period of time and then going back. Nobody ever goes back. It's the best. So I love to see what they do with their awareness.
Yeah, no, I imagine so. That'd definitely be
Yep,
fun to watch.
it is.
When you're looking at like your average client or the people that you could best serve, what does
Yep.
that look like? What are the pain points that somebody might be going through that if somebody's dealing with X, Y, or Z, you're the person that they should be talking to?
So if you are a an entrepreneur or a leader, or really honestly, I've worked with everybody, but if you're feeling burnt out, if you're really an overachiever and but you're also, overthinking and overanalyzing and getting results, and maybe you resonated with my story where you're like, you're getting really great results. Maybe you have a great job and it has a great pay, but you're just feeling kind of meh about your life. That's definitely the pain point that I love to address. The more stuck, the better.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot
Yep.
of sense. The more stuck, the more they're going to notice the being
That's
unstuck.
right.
Right?
That's
Oh,
right.
I can move my
And
arms
and
again.
there's a lot of pain associated with that too, right? But then there's like guilt and shame. And I remember feeling this feeling of like, oh my gosh, I have everything that I've ever wanted. How dare I want more, right? Because I was raised with, can't you just be happy with what you have? Right. So there was that piece. And well, what if I change and the people that I love don't change with me? So then there was that fear. And then there was, what if I end up having to like change careers? I've just put all of this time and money and resources into all of my schooling and all of the things, and like, what if that changes? What does that look like? And then navigating, there's so much that goes into it that's preventing people from moving forward. And what organizations don't realize is that a lot of their top leadership, and I mean, speaking from someone that was in the top leadership, I got there purely from doing all the things. Like, I was very much action taker, but I was shoulder tapped, right? So when I got shoulder tapped at 23, and they said, you'd be a great, initially it was, you'd be a great supervisor. And then shoulder tap again a couple of years later, you should come manage this team. Shoulder tap again, you should come be the executive director over here, the VP over here. And I just kept going, but I did not have the self image of someone who could rise to the occasion. And I can guarantee at that point, I very much had people following me out of obligation versus out of inspiration. And this is a big thing that organizations don't realize that they have is, are your leaders worth following, and do they understand themselves enough to self lead so that people follow because they're inspired by them, not because they, write the paychecks or make the schedules or whatever technical thing that they do, or they have the title, right? So when organizations have leaders that are worth following, it impacts everything. It impacts everything. And again, that's probably another one of my favorite joys when I work with organizations, is watching their culture shift, because that's what shifts culture, one person at a time. becoming more aware of who they are and what they can actually bring to the table.
Yeah, people always say like culture this, culture that, but it's individuals changing culture, right?
100%.
It's
Well,
bit
that's what
by
makes
bit.
up a culture, right? So
Exactly.
we have like societal paradigms, right, that are formed. We have individual family paradigms that are formed, and within an organization, you have a organizational paradigm that's formed. And if you want to shift that, it's not, come in and redo your strategic plan and, all of those things support it's the people. Your organization is just a title without the people. Your people are what make your organization. And when you have individuals that are inspired and are on purpose and aren't just going through the motions, like who wants an organization full of people that are just on the hamster wheel and aren't inspired by what they do, but they're just doing it for the paycheck, or they're just doing it for the title, or they don't even know why they're doing it. They just ended up there, right? When you can get your people on purpose, using even like their intuition to make decisions, or even have people that can make decisions. A lot of people can't make decisions. And this is how they will then end up burn out, and they don't know that they're burnout. And then that impacts everybody. And then this is the whole culture.
Absolutely. What
Yeah.
does your average power partner look like? What are the professionals or individuals out there that you synergize really well with? You find a lot of collaboration working with, or just referral partners that you can work back and forth with?
Yeah. I really love working um, with people that are looking to proactively make change, right? When it's, whether it's an individual organization that's being very reactive, like we're seeing this and now we got to do something quick. When you're working on the individual, it takes time. Not, it doesn't have to take a lot of time, but it takes some time. And when you're thinking, I want to be proactive with reducing my sick time, I want to be proactive with, employee engagement or client satisfaction, or all the things that disengagement is linked to, right? So we already know these things. But when someone wants to be proactive, these are the people that I love to partner with. And these are the people that I know too are going to get the best results.
Absolutely. What about like certain industries? Does that tend to be like, hey, I work very well with coaches, or I work really well with CPAs, bookkeepers? Is there anything like that, or is it just basically what you said? There's
Anybody.
no
It's
awesome.
the best part. Like I literally am like, I work with humans. As long as you're human and you have a mind and a brain and everything, you can create your higher self. That's who I work with. And honestly, I've worked with very I guess past versions of myself, like the people that are very logical and um eh, just, you know what I mean, like
I
just the
gotcha.
logical brains at work. um and I've worked with, yeah, everybody on in between. And it's honestly, as long as you're willing to do the work on you, because the leadership, so like my program is called Inspired Leadership, and the the best people like coming through it are the ones that are willing to kind of put the mirror up and do the work. And then the people that I synergize with are the people that have already started doing the work but want to continue to go a little bit deeper.
Okay, awesome. What advice would you give to a new or aspiring entrepreneur?
Oh my gosh, stop waiting until you feel ready. That is the biggest thing. I have an institute as well. It's called the Pursuit Institute, and it brings together um, other coaches and mentors, people that don't want to work in a silo. So we work together under the institute, and that is one of the biggest things that I see in so many entrepreneurs. And I have a background in network marketing and lots of different, obviously healthcare is a business as well. And it's the same thing. They want to have everything perfect before they get started. But it's like, what is perfection? What is ready? What does that look like? Start showing up like the version of you who's already made it. Start acting like them. Start making decisions. I always say, I wrote a book last year. It was called "You Can't Mess This Up." And there's a whole chapter and it's called Be, Do, Have. And it's about, everybody focuses on the having. You know, I want to have a culture like this. I want to have the rock solid abs. I want to have the relationship that looks like this. I want to have the bank account that looks like this. I want to have the car that looks like this. They always focus on the have, but there's two very important steps that go before that. And it's not even about the doing. The doing, you have to take action. It's not an option, right? So many people get overwhelmed and then they don't take any action. Be the person first. Just make a decision. Say, okay, who is the person that has that bank account or that business or that culture? Who is the person that has that? Then do what they do, and then it's cause and effect. The have will take care of itself. But success isn't something you chase. It's something that you're in alignment with, and it begins with your identity. So your self-image, it must grow faster than your strategy. Because if you don't believe you're worthy of success, you'll unconsciously sabotage it. So get clear on who you are, who you serve, and what you stand for, and then get obsessed with serving based on that, because business follows belief every single time.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. That's fantastic advice. So go back and listen to that twice. All right. So how can inspired leadership transform both your life and your business?
So inspired leadership, I've been really intentional about not making it another leadership course. It's truly about transformation. So we help leaders stop managing from burnout and start leading from within. When you invest in developing internally your identity into one of self-leadership, that what happens is they become confident decision makers. They become resilient in tough times because these are inevitable. They become magnetic to their teams. Like their teams can't help but want to follow them, right? And it's not about teaching leadership tactics, right? It's not about the mechanical things. Here's this is how you do payroll. This is how you have crucial conversations. It's about building leaders and people that people actually want to follow. So that shift alone, that's going to increase engagement. It reduces turnover. It boosts performance across the businesses. And it feels better for the leader.
Awesome. How can
Yeah.
personal fulfillment fuel professional success?
When you are fulfilled from within and you're not relying on everything outside of you to kind of check all the boxes, you end up using it as fuel. And again, I always talk about, because even within inspired leadership, or even if I'm working one-on-one with somebody, we always talk about fear, because fear is a guaranteed part of the process when you start doing things that you've never done before. And you can use, instead of using that fear to hold you back, you can actually use the fear as fuel to move you forward. Because once you know what it is and you can identify it, then you can use the tools that you're given to move through it instead of letting it paralyze you. Equals
Absolutely.
success.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. How can you develop a self-image that empowers you to lead with confidence?
So self-image is everything. It's everything. You will never outperform your self-image. And if deep down you see yourself as someone who's not worthy or not capable or not ready, you will keep hitting the same ceiling, right? We put ourselves in this box and then we just keep ourselves there. But when you can rewire that self-image, when you start to see yourself as powerful and worthy and enough, these are the biggest ones that I see, you begin to then take bolder actions, right? Your beingness affects your doingness. You will never do what your self-image will not allow you to do, right? So you'll begin to take bolder action. You'll attract in better opportunities. You'll recover faster from any of your setbacks, right? Success doesn't start with a goal. It starts with your identity, because everything you have right now, you attracted in. Like whoever's listening right now, look around, from where the chair you're sitting in to the computer or phone you're watching this on, to where you work, to where you live, your current self-image, your current standards attracted all of that in. The only reason you don't have, so say you're driving a Honda Civic, but you really want the Mustang convertible. The only reason you're not driving the Mustang, it's not because you don't have the resources or the money or whatever you think it is. It's because you don't have the self-image. You're not a You don't have self-image of a Mustang driving person. That's it.
Yeah, no, I like that. Super
Yep.
simple, but not easy, right? It's
Nope. No, for sure. That's the exact thing, which is why though, um, why when I say you have to want to do this work, like anybody that I work with, I'm like, how bad do you want this? Like how sick of yourself are you?
Mhm.
Right. And that's someone saying the stucker the better, right? Because if you're like no, because I remember that's how I had to be, because I did everything society told me I had to do. I had a ridiculous amount of letters behind my name. I'd taken all the courses, I had taken all the jobs, I had the man and the house and the car and the job and the pension and the all the things that I was supposed to have, and I'm going, but what else? I literally had put myself in this box, and the box looked awesome, but it wasn't on purpose, right? So it's just like, it's about noticing the box and then being willing to be like, I'm willing to do the work to take myself out of the box that I put myself in.
Yep. No,
Yep.
and that's human nature. It's got to
It
hurt
is.
enough for you to want to move.
That's
It's
right.
got to be. It's more painful to stay where you are than to make the
That's right.
changes required to get to where you want. So that makes
That's right.
sense. Stucker the better.
That's
I
right.
like that.
And
So
we will do anything as humans to either avoid pain or to gain pleasure. Like, this is all we want ever, right? But when your pain, this is where pain is all relative, right? Because I might witness somebody else's pain and go, oh my gosh, I could never do that. But to them, they're used to it, unfortunately.
yeah,
Like, they've normalized that level of pain, especially if that's what they grew up in,
yeah,
right?
that's
So
just Tuesday.
that's a whole
So
other topic.
absolutely. So why you with a menu of options out there? What sets what you're
Yeah.
doing apart from everybody else?
Yeah. Honestly, Anthony, it's because I don't just teach theory. Like, I help people live transformation, and I've walked the path. I've literally rebuilt myself. I've grown multiple seven-figure businesses. I've led teams. I've coached leaders, and I've seen firsthand how beliefs shape behavior. So what I bring is depth. Like, talk about childhood. I grew up in poverty, living in a trailer park. Like, the hand I was given was not, I literally, from the moment I was a teenager, I had to decide that my life was going to look different. And then even when it started looking different and I was 30 years old, I then had to decide that everything that I thought I had built, I left. I resigned at my corporate job and I started my own business. And then I started another business, right? So it's the real experience. It is not surface level coaching, it is like soul level coaching, and a lot of systems that create lasting change. I am not interested in teaching anything that's not sustainable, ever, 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 ever. Like, I would never send somebody to a crucial conversations course who doesn't have the self image to then go back and have the crucial conversation, right? Everything that I do, everything that I touch, from my books to my speaking to my podcast to my courses to everything, it's sustainable. And I'm not here to impress, like, I'm here to empower. And I deeply believe that everyone has a purpose and the right to mentorship, and that everybody has with everything they need to succeed. They just have to unlock it.
I love that. Not here to impress. I'm here to empower.
Yep.
That's really good. So awesome. Is there anything I missed or I failed to ask that you wanted to add?
You know what? I think we've really nailed it down. But if anybody's really wanting to lean into this, and you're not really sure where to start, honestly, like I said, I wrote a book last year. It's called "You Can't Mess This Up." You can grab it on Amazon, and it is full of everything that we just talked about plus more. And follow along on social media. Go to my podcast. It's called Tea with D, and you can listen to me jabber on about all of this awesomeness over there too.
Awesome. Awesome. So outside of the book and the podcast, is that the best way people find you or get a hold of you if they want to know more?
I'm on all the platforms: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, my website. You can go to DelynnMiller.com, or you can check us out over at PursuitInstituteCC.com.
Perfect. And I'm going to put all that in the show notes so it's super easy to find.
Fantastic.
Find your favorite platform and reach out. I can't
That's
recommend
right.
enough having that conversation.
Yep.
Delynn is exactly the same in a one-to-one as she is here. So don't be afraid or nervous. You're going to walk
Nope.
away with a smile and you're going to be feeling better about yourself. So
Yep.
why wouldn't you have that conversation? So
That's right.
absolutely.
You're worth it.
Yeah.
You're worth it. And so is your team.
Yeah.
They deserve it too.
Say it louder for the people in the back, right? Everybody needs
That's
to hear
right.
that daily. So
you deserve it.
Awesome. So awesome. Feel free to reach out to Delynn. If anybody would like to get a hold of me, you can find me at ikag.me. You can find more episodes, subscribe to our newsletter, and connect with our growing community of awesome people like Delynn. If you or somebody you know would like to be interviewed, you can also apply on our website. But thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
You're a wealth of knowledge. You're inspiring, and it's super good for people to hear this frequently, right? Feel better about yourself.
You can never hear it enough. That's for sure.
If you're stuck, you don't have to be, right?
That's right.
If you're up to your neck in quicksand, ask for help.
That's right. Absolutely. And two, like if you're finding yourself, like if you're building a coaching business right now or an intuitive business of any kind, and you're kind of sick of working in a silo and you want to work with a team of other coaches, go check out the Pursuit Institute and just come join us. Honestly, like I'm a firm believer that we're better in numbers. Like working in silos is we can just serve more people and really shift that human consciousness as a group. So that's what that piece is all about.
Absolutely. You get to focus on your zone of brilliance while others do theirs. And it's a compounding effect. So that's awesome.
That's right.
Well, let's take that to heart. Let's go have an awesome day and all grow our circle. All right.
You bet. Thank you, Anthony.